Hi, I'm Dr. Doris and you are so welcome. Emotional intelligence. Isn't the word by itself already ringing a bell? I'm curious, are you aware of overthinking or worry? Do you know that things can bring you really down? And are you aware that from time to time you think that any of your stresses are coming from the outside or coming from others? Or you think it's the situation, it is something outside. But deep down you know it is inside of you. Deep down you know that it is about you and how you respond to things. Emotional intelligence will help you to become more aware of your emotions. We say that 80% of emotions are either not identified or incorrectly identified. For example, you think you have a problem with feeling down or sad, but we may find out that really at the core of things is anger, and you need to find ways how to release your anger. Or the other way around, you may think, oh, I get so easily frustrated and I have to work on my angriness. But then with emotional intelligence, we can find out that deep down there may be any event from the past that has not been solved, or maybe a very sad feeling. And once you learn how to cry consciously, intentionally and consciously, and you let it out, it can give you all kinds of empowerment. Emotional intelligence helps you to identify your emotions more correctly so that we can do something about it. See, there's a very simple formula that you can think about. Before your body makes heightened heartbeat, higher breathing rate, sweating, flushing, nervous twitching, or any such symptoms, your brain has to send a message to the rest of the body. And your brain has to get impulses before it would tell the rest of your body to shoot out adrenals or cortisol or many other hormones. And so the nervous system is influenced. So when your brain shoots out these adrenals, making stress, so to speak, making anxiety, what happens is that the impulse comes from your limbic brain. Would you please touch the back of your head for me and say, this is my limbic brain. So when you react fastly like this, you can barely talk, or you begin to shout, or you begin to have this physiological response, something happened first from your brain to make your limbic brain shoot out adrenals. That limbic brain is just like the animal. See, the animal, if somebody walks into the territory, is supposed to go, or the animal will just, kill another animal for survival, hunting. That's what adrenals are meant for, called fight and flight. But you are not supposed to have heightened heartbeat often. You're not supposed to have irregular stress or an anxiety that is reoccurring. we humans are supposed to handle our emotions because we have the neocortex. Would you please now touch this front lobe of your brain and say, "This is my neocortex. This is my neocortex." And our language, our reasoning, our ability to recognize, our ability to handle emotions comes from how we use our neocortex and altogether how we talk to ourselves. Let me ask you something else. So you may be aware of negative beliefs that swirl around in you. You are saying to yourself, "I can't do it," or you say to yourself, "This is too much," or you say to yourself, "What injustice, what fairness." And then you actually have that physiological response. Or in emotional intelligence, we say, when you are good at making yourself worry and anxiety, it means you are good at making negative pictures of the future. Making up the worst case scenario. You know about this? So if you make a picture of something threatening, all your brain knows to do again is respond from the limbic brain and pump out adrenals. What you're supposed to do is take a step back and think about, how can I be more in control? How can I handle more consciously my emotions? Because you can. You can learn how to handle all these processes more consciously inside of you. For example, if you say to yourself, "I can't do this, this is possible," and it creates a form of stress or anxiety, go back and revise this dialogue and say to yourself, "I can. It is possible." Maybe I can just allow something new. Stepping back and reflecting on your responses is a very big part of becoming more emotional intelligent. And pardon me, I'm not saying that you are expected to have greater emotional intelligence or a greater EQ. Emotional intelligence is measured in certain ways, in a way that you can find out about your EQ. I don't mean that you should already have it. I just mean to challenge you a little bit, because you already know many times and situations when you can be very resourceful. You even know situations where others can't be resourceful, but you are very resourceful. Emotional intelligence gives you a big bag of tools to navigate the realm of triggers, to navigate the realm of being affected, to navigate the realm of being more protected, and to respond more the way that you want. We so easily go into these emotions that are more or less threatening to us, or that disturb our well-being. However, it is much more intelligent to think about the emotions that you want to feel more. When you learn emotional intelligence, you will get lots of different structures and encouragements to increase this internal emotional consciousness. Think of some emotions that you would like to feel more. In the Emotional Intelligence Workshop, it is called the Rainbow of Emotions. You'll get to sit down and design the emotions that help you more. For example, ease. For example, relaxation. For example, simply go into your heart and smile with more compassion. Maybe in your rainbow of emotions, you may design satisfaction, contentment. Of course, everybody wants greater happiness. Everybody wants greater joy. And there's emotions even stronger than that, like bliss, or very high forms of what we call love. And all of this is available inside of you, and it can be honed. It can be practiced. Emotional intelligence is nothing that we are born with. It is something to practice continuously, again and again. I am teaching emotional intelligence for more than 30 years, and I can only say I am still practicing. Now I can proudly announce to you that I am, for the greatest percentage of possibility, able to handle my emotions, to identify them early, and to do something about it. Emotional intelligence is what helps you personally in your relationship, first with yourself, then your relationships with others, may it be in your immediate environment of the significant others, and of course also professionally. In the last years of my corporate trainings, I have been mainly asked to do 2 days of emotional intelligence for corporate groups in order to more successfully circumvent processes like backstabbing or gossiping or arguing. Because everybody knows, and particularly leaders, that it is such a drainage of time, such a waste of energy. When we get lost in our arguments, or when we get lost in accusation, or when we get lost in the thinking, I'm right, you are wrong. It's ridiculous. Emotional intelligence is centered in the heart. Emotional intelligence teaches you more how you can rest within your heart and respond from your heart. We do a fun technique. It is called emotion yoga. You learn how to consciously step in and step out of emotions. We step into an emotion, and guess what? Whether it's a positive emotion or a challenging emotion. And we simply learn to be in that emotion and at the same time be conscious. Because it is not about never experiencing anger. Don't even try. It's not about eliminating feeling sad. You won't manage. It's about how to be more conscious when these processes begin and to just deal with them in another way. Sometimes we just need to give ourselves some little time for poor me. Or now I want to let out my frustration. The moment that you can consciously say, I want to let out my frustration, doesn't it have a totally different energy? We in emotional intelligence support you in becoming more conscious and loving with any of the emotions you experience. And we also particularly help you to further the wonderful emotions. One emotion we like to really treasure is called laughter. We are supposed to laugh more. Laughing is a very good emotion. It loosens your diaphragm and it loosens your jaw, and it just doesn't even allow for a negative emotion to come up. Just some little snippets here today for you to think about your emotional intelligence and to hopefully motivate you to do something about this. There is no need to suffer. Also not in deeper laying fears or traumas or issues that may come from deep-rooted past experiences. Each and everything that you are experiencing can be resourcefully addressed with emotional intelligence and can empower you. One of the things you will learn in emotional intelligence, in Dr. Doris' emotional intelligence, is emotion yoga. Isn't it amazing that just like you do physical yoga and you stretch and you bend your muscles and you know you can release energy from the muscles by stretching them, and of course it's not always only a very good feeling. In emotion yoga, we consciously step in, and I'm showing you how we do it using the body. Step in to emotions, feel them, give them a little time, and then step out of them. In this way, you are empowered to know more exactly what happens. What often is the case that you can think of it as an emotion warp. Your neural pathways are kind of nearly like intertwined. So you're experiencing something, somebody says something, and it's immediately attached to a feeling of rejection or the response of angry or frustrated or any of the responses. So when you learn to consciously step in and step out of emotions, you will learn how to identify them earlier and how to respond to them more powerfully, more the way you really like. In this process, and sometimes as we move around in the room and do something called transformational movement, we use the body because, think about it, your emotions live in your body. How do you know you have a negative emotion? How do you know you are suffering from an emotion? Because your physiological responses. So what an amazing idea, don't you think so? To do yoga with your emotions just like you do yoga with your body. So we practice to, wouldn't you want to feel more happiness? I'm asking you right now, please do it with me. Raise your knees and step into happiness. Say, I am feeling happy. Can you say it with me, please? I am feeling happy. And you move around, and we'll do it typically around 1 minute. And you literally deeply go into I am feeling happy. And practice what kinds of hormones get free now, because now when you manage to make yourself feel very good upon demand, something quickly happens with your serotonins and you really do feel good. Now, the same process is also used for example, I am feeling angry. I am feeling angry. Now you may ask, why would we do such a thing? Because it's not about trying to eliminate or trying to get rid of emotions. Just as we said before, it does not work. If you more consciously, exactly understand and trigger your anger by stepping into it, expressing it, and then stepping again out of it, don't you think you learn how to be more on top of this emotion? Emotion yoga gives you a variety of responses. Emotion yoga helps you to more consciously be able to stop before the emotion you don't want would start, or for sure step into one of the emotions of your rainbow of emotions. For example, I am feeling happy. And know how it is when you literally begin to design the kind of emotions you want to feel more. In emotional intelligence, we don't judge emotions. We help you how to feel them and how to release them. For example, in one of the sessions in the training course, we will together release anger, because anger is a fire emotion. And maybe you already know, you can't just stuff it. You can't just suppress it, because it's fire and it wants to come up. And isn't it rather that the more you suppress it, the more it wants to come up? So there are very healthy, smart, emotional, intelligent techniques how you can release anger. For example, beat the pillow and make a sound from your hara. Ha! 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 To really release this extra fire that otherwise makes you react or respond to somebody else the way you don't want to. Not only the way you don't want to, but we are not meant to shout at each other or accuse each other or scold each other or dominate each other. These are all emotions that only come when we are stuck with our blood flowing to the limbic brain. As you increase your ability to come from your neocortex, you will more wonderfully trigger the emotions that make you feel good. One emotion that everyone in any country, within any religion, in any part of the world could feel more and do more every day is laughter. And we will do laughter meditations in the emotional intelligence training. I would like for you to laugh with me right now, at least 1 minute. And notice what happens when you laugh according to your facial muscles and according to your diaphragm. Your diaphragm separates your lungs from your vital organs, and this diaphragm is vital to your feeling good, and many of the nerve endings that are part of our experiences are coming from your diaphragm as well. So let's practice to shake the diaphragm by experiencing laughter. Should we? Please? Ooh, it's so good. You know, you could do it for hours, but we'll practice it from time to time together. Needless to say that when a whole group laughs and spreads laughter and gets into laughter, it has very positive effects. Really think about it. How much time are you spending by either being down, thinking about sad things, making yourself being sad, low confidence, negative beliefs, and you really know it's not needed? You could be feeling happy instead. Think about how much time is wasted in arguments. I'm right, you are right, you are wrong, you are wrong. Think about it. It is unnecessary. It's mere wastage. It's mere wastage. These emotions that take us over can be changed. I invite you to learn more about emotional intelligence and to practice many tools that will greatly increase your greater happiness, your greater handling of your emotions, and your empowerment. Now people say, oh, they're talking about emotional intelligence, and what do they know? My emotional problem is very deep. We are very aware of the process of deeper laying fears. Of course, deeper laying emotional issues are traumas. Many times we have been misused, so to speak, in the past, or we have experienced abuse, and it's very deep emotional experiences. And I'm not saying that I don't understand your deeper laying issues. I do say it is about you to identify them, and it is about you doing something about them. In the Emotional Intelligence Masters Program, we have a process called releasing emotional enmeshment. Because see, there's something called negative love or negative association. Because the brain cannot deal with the amount of emotional pain, it quickly associates with the other in order to guarantee some sort of protection. However, it doesn't work because we continue to suffer and we continue to feel bad, and the only way to get out of it is to do something very consciously about it. So there are particular reprogramming skills, there are particular re-imprinting skills, and we do things up to metaphysical surgeries where we look at how is this negative emotional warp enmeshed within you, and then we look at how specifically we can take it out of you by the process of filling you with something that is much more resourceful and that will help you. So emotional intelligence also helps you for the deeper laying issues. I'm Dr. Doris, and you are very welcome.